This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, hello all, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about concept which is upstream projects and downstream projects. Okay, so yesterday we discussed about yesterday. What we discussed yesterday? How to pick the code from GitHub to Jenkins, right? How to pick the code from GitHub to Jenkins, and also we discussed about global tool configuration, right? So today we configure upstream and downstream projects. So upstream jobs and downstream jobs. What is upstream? What is downstream? So we'll try to understand. So can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. So this infrastructure already created, right? So Terraform session happened here. So I'm destroying some resources. Done. Right. Pipeline jobs, which are like upstream and downstream projects. Fine. So basically, why we require this upstream and downstream? Okay. So normally in real projects, what will happen? For example, we have different development teams. So this is one development team. So this is another development team. Okay, 3 development teams are there. So dev team 1, dev team 2, okay. So here another one is development team 3. So 3 development teams are working on 3 different sprints. Sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3. This is sprint 1. Okay, S1, we can say S1, S2, and S3. Sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3. Right? So normally in real projects, what will happen? So the same requirement will take different teams. Different teams will work on same requirement. Okay. We'll take one more team for easy understanding. So we can take one more team, which is 4th team also. Dev team 4, sprint 4, right? So 4 sprints are there. 4 sprints they are working on same requirement. One requirement is there. So last few years before, 1 or 2 years, 1 year before, I think, in our organization, so our development team worked on some some requirement. Okay, so the requirement name is DSSO. DSSO means digital single sign-on. Digital single sign-on means normally what is single sign-on? What is single sign-on? Its application name single sign-on. SSO. Normally in real projects we use SSO, right? Yeah, SSO means it is a single sign-on means normally what we will do using same login ID we can log in multiple applications, whatever applications we have in our project. Okay, so all the applications we can log in using the same credentials, same username password, right? Digital sign-on, digital single sign-on means what will happen? So digital single sign-on, one interface will be there. Once you log in into that, automatically it will take. Digital it will take. No need to apply again and again. No need to apply credentials again and again. So that is very small application. For that application, two teams involved into that to develop that application. So this is before automation I'm talking about. After not after automation, before automation. So it is happened. It was happened. I think 2.5 years before, not 1 year before. 2.5 years, 3 years before. Okay. So by the time development teams involved into that, they performed this activity. They took nearly 8 months time to develop this. It's a very small application. Nearly 8 months to 1 year they took time. So nearly 8 developers. Okay, so hardly it will take 1 week time, but they took 8 months time, right? So to develop this application, because the organizations are like that, sometimes projects are like that. So in that activity, few people got promotions. Okay, even though the delivery head also got promotion, right? Like that. So currently it is not happening like in projects, not happening like that because everywhere automation. So if you want to develop manual way, if you want to take a lot of time, so we have sprints, agile methodology here. So earlier we used to use waterfall methodology. Currently we have agile methodology. In agile methodology, what will happen? Okay, so every week we'll have sprint. We need to complete this sprint within the time frame. Otherwise, escalations and mail shoots, client justifications. Okay, these are the things will comes into picture, right? Yeah. For example, we have 4 sprints here. So this 4 sprints, once complete this sprint, for example, once complete this, what will happen? So this is GitHub, for example, this is GitHub. This is GitHub. So this once complete this sprint, they will push this sprint to GitHub. Normally, when development is completed, they will push the code to GitHub, right? So whatever changes happened here, by the time, okay, so Jenkins will pick that code and deploy into application servers. So this is Jenkins, right? So normally, for example, one sprint is there, one development team is there. Okay, so this development is completed, or this some changes happened here. They committed the code and they push into GitHub. So this is GitHub. So once it is pushed to GitHub, normally Jenkins will pick that and it will deploy into application server, or else it will be pushed to, it will move to Nexus Artifactory. Here we'll have Maven. This is Maven. Maven will generate as a WAR file or jar file. So after that, what will happen? This WAR file or jar file will push to Nexus repo. Okay, And from here, we can push this WAR files to application servers, okay, using Jenkins jobs. So we don't push manually. We always use Jenkins jobs only, okay. But here, my requirement is, here 4 sprints are there. They are working on 4 sprints parallelly, okay. So once this development team sprint 1 script is, once it is completed, once it is pushed to Jenkins, then only it should pick the second one. Once it is pushed to Jenkins, then third one should pick. Once it is picked to by Jenkins, fourth one should start. Okay. So my sequence is like this. Okay. Once this job is success, once this code is pushed, then only this code should push, like that sequence. If this job is failed, for example, sprint 1 job is failed, sprint 2 should not start. Okay, sprint 1, whenever sprint 1 job is success, then only sprint 2 job should start. That is my requirement. Because if the sprint 1 is not success, that job is not run, sprint 2, if you run the sprint 2 job, what will happen? Some changes will be missed from sprint 1. That is why what we will do, normally in real time, we'll create pipeline jobs. So we can say upstream and downstream jobs. So for example, here for the sprint 1, we create one job 1. Sprint 2, we create job 2. Sprint 3, we create job 3. Here job 4. So whenever we run, we configure as upstream and downstream projects. What will happen? Whenever this job 1 is success, then only job 2 will run. Whenever job 2 is success, then only job 3 will run. Whenever job 3 is success, then only job 4 will run. Okay, not job 3, job 4 will run. So based on this jobs, these are the dependent jobs. Okay, one job will depend on other job. Okay, whenever the job 1 is success, then only job 2 will run. Like that, we need to configure. This requirement will be given by developers only. Okay, which job should run first? They will inform you. Based on that, we need to create upstream and downstream jobs, pipeline jobs. Right? So these requirements will get in real time. So based on the developer requirement, we can create jobs. Fine. Now, upstream projects and downstream projects. For example, here job 1. Job 1 is downstream project. Okay, next job 2. Job 2 is, yeah, job 2. Why we are saying like job 1 is downstream project? Because under job 1 we'll have some jobs which are like job 2. Okay, and job 2 is up and downstream project. Because okay, it will watch job 1, and also under this job we'll have job 3, right? That is why we can say up and downstream project. And the job 3, we can say the same. Up and downstream project. And the job 4, what we can say here? Upstream project. So under job 4, there is no jobs, right?
If you have any job file, you can create a post.
Yeah, correct. If you have any job file, then we can say like up and downstream, right? So like this, we need to configure the jobs. Okay. If you trigger job one, automatically, if the job one is success, then job two will run, then job three will run, then job four also will run. Whenever you trigger job one. Okay. So one by one, all the jobs will run. Fine. So let us go and start this. We can work on the lab. You understand the concept, right? Here. So whenever the sprints, multiple sprints are running like this. So when they are working on the same requirement, okay, job one should run first. Once job one is success, once it is success, what will happen? This code will be moved to GitHub and Jenkins, right? Once this code is moved to GitHub and Jenkins, then only second job should run. Sequential jobs, because sequential order, they develop the code. Finally, they deploy. So once we convert into var, we can move to Nexus. Sometimes what we will do, we directly push to application server. Here deployment will be happen. Right? So now we can create this lab. Let us start our Jenkins server. Now the server is in running state. Copy public IP. Yeah. So we have created already job one, right? Job one already created. Let us build now once whether it is running properly or not. Build now whether it is success or failed. Let us check now first. Then we'll move to we'll create other jobs. Yeah, job one is working fine. It is running fine. It is success. Build is success. Okay. So now what we will do? We create 3 more jobs. Okay. Dashboard. Go to dashboard. New item. Job 2. Freestyle project. Click on OK. Source code management. Git. You can give GitHub URL. So you can select Game of Life. Same code we can select here. Copy link address, copy repository URL, paste here. So this is public repository, right? So no need to give credentials. Go down here. So by default master is there. You can keep this master. And also next one, build. Go to build, invoke top level Maven targets. Click on this. You can select Maven version and the goals. Clean, install, package. Apply, save. Now we can run this job 2 also once. Let us check whether it is success or not. Failure, success or fail. Let us check now. Job 2 is running. Yeah, build is success here. Job 2 also. Next, third one also you can create. New item, job 3, freestyle project. Okay. Source code management Git. You can paste the URL here, GitHub URL, Game of Life URL. Click here, master branch. You can keep this and go to build. Invoke top level Maven targets. Select Maven latest version and goals. Clean, install, apply, save. You can run this one also. Build now.
Sir, we are discussing creating pipeline based job.
Yeah, we'll configure that. First we create jobs and we'll test it first. Then we can configure.
Okay.
Yeah, this one also success. Next, fourth one also we can create. New item, job 4. Source code management Git, repository URL, GitHub URL. Go to build, invoke top level Maven targets, clean, install, package, apply, save. We can test now. Build now. So job 4 is perfectly configured or not.
But what happens if you won't mention goals? Sorry.
Could not understand. Can you come again? What?
What happens if you won't mention goals?
Goals. Okay. Goals means basically those are Maven goals. Clean. First goal we give, right? Clean. What will happen here? So when we run the build, if any build is available with the same name, that will be cleaned up. Any code is there, any errors are there in the builds, that will be clean. Next one is package. Next one is install. Install means normally it will gather the facts. Okay, package means it will convert into as a package. Okay, so that we will discuss in Maven. Those are Maven goals, not Jenkins goals. So when we discuss about Maven, we'll go deeper. Okay. Yeah. So currently we have 4 jobs ready, right? So these jobs we can put into pipeline. So like this, upstream and downstream, right? So we can configure into upstream and downstream. When we trigger job 1, all the jobs will run. If the job 1 is success, then only job 2 will start. The job 2 success, then only job 3 will start. Like that, these are these jobs we can configure as pipeline jobs. Okay, fine. Now, so open job 1 config, job 1 not required, no need to put anything here. Open job 2 configure. Click on this job 2 configure. Yeah, here we need to go to build triggers. So one tab is there, build triggers. Click on this. Okay, so here in build trigger we have second option, which is build after other projects are built. One option is there, right? You can select this. Now project to watch. So we are configuring job 2 now. This is job 2, right? We are configuring job 2. Project to watch. Which project job 2 will watch? A project watches
Job 1.
Job
job
1.
1. So job 2 will watch job 1, right? So see here, trigger only if the build is stable. Stable means success, right? So trigger even if the build is unstable. Trigger even if the build is fails. Okay. So first option by default it is selected. We need to keep this value first option always. Okay. So if the build is stable, then only job 2 will start. If the build is stable means job 1 is success, then only job 2 will start. Right? Apply, save. Next one is job 3. Go to job 3 configure. Go to build triggers. Build after other projects are built. Now I'm configuring job 3. Job 3 will watch
Job.
right? So trigger only if the build is stable. Apply, save. Next one is job 4. Go to job 4 configure. Build trigger. Job 3. It will watch job 3. Apply, save. Now, if you open job 1, it should show downstream project. See here, what it is showing? Downstream projects. The same we wrote here, right? This is a downstream project. Okay. Job 2 will show upstream and downstream project. Job 3 also same. Open job 2. See here. So job 2. We open job 2. For job 2, upstream project is job 1. Downstream project is job 3. Right? Next one, job 3. For job 3, upstream project is job 2. Downstream project is job 4. Open job 4. Job 4 is upstream project. It will watch job 3 only. Right? Like this, we need to configure in real time. Now, what I will do, I trigger job 1. When I trigger job 1, okay, so click on this. When I trigger this job 1, build now, all the jobs will run. Yeah, job 1 started. See here. Job 1 is started, job 1 running. Once it is complete, so job 2 will be available in build queue, then job 2 will run. Like that, one by one, all the jobs will run. So now job 1 is running. Job 2 is in queue. Now if you observe here, job 2 is in queue. Now it will start. Job 2 will start. See here, job 2 is started. Yeah. Now job 3 is in queue. It will start now.
Sir, in real time, a DevOps engineer should always configure pipeline jobs.
Yeah, whenever we got requirement, so we need to configure. Yeah. Job 4 is in queue. Now it will start.
Sir, is there any scenario that if any job has an issue, then the other the other jobs will stop, or else it will run?
Yeah, we'll see that. Okay, once it is complete.
And can the jobs be of the same name, or it should be different all the time?
Should not be same name. If you give same name, job 1, job 1, job 1 like that, some confusion will be happened, right? That is it. So sequentially you can create the jobs. Okay, fine. Now all the jobs are success, right? So that is why job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, all the jobs trigger, right? So now what I will do, I put some errors in job 2. Okay, so then what will happen? Job 2 will be failed. By the time job 3 will not run, job 4 also will not be run. So whenever job 1 success, then only job 2 will run. So if the job 2 success, then only job 3 will run. Job 3 success, then only job 4 will run. If the job 2 is failed, job 3, job 4 will not run. Okay. So what I will do, go to job 2 configure. Go down here. So we have goals, right? So in goals, I put some errors, something like I wrote something extra like this. Okay. Apply, save. If you give wrong goals, it will be failed. Now I want to run job 1. Build now. Job 1 is running. Job 2 is in queue. Now job 2 will run. It should fail. Okay. Yeah, it is failed. Now job 3 will not run. Job 4 also will not run. Okay, nothing is running here. Go to job 2, it will show you red color. See here, this is failed. Why this is failed? Check the logs, click on the logs. See here, error, unknown life cycle phase. Yeah, package. So after package, some comments are there here. Some, it is saying, simply saying goal or plugin issue. Okay, so here Build step, invoke top level Maven targets, marked build as failed. Invoke top level Maven targets, there is a issue. So it is failed. Job is failed, right? Failure. So in this case, whenever the job is failed, based on these logs, we can troubleshoot that. If you have any wrong comments, wrong goals you mention, anything happened, you can find out from using, when we check the logs, we can understand, right?
So any email can be configured in this case whenever there is a job failure or success, or else do we need to
Yes.
check by logging into Jenkins itself?
We'll get notified through emails also when we discuss about configure system. By the time we discuss, right? Emails also will trigger to the groups.
Okay.
So here we configure some emails also, manage Jenkins, configure system. So here one SMTP server is there that will trigger emails.
Yeah. Okay.
So
And
we
one thing,
already
if there are
discussed.
any, if there are any suppose errors in the code, then it will detect that one also, or else only via goals.
Yeah, if any errors are there or any duplicate lines are there, okay, what will happen? Before moving to GitHub, the code before moving to GitHub. So before this, we have one more tool which is here, Sonar Code Review tool that will review and it will, if any errors are there, issues are there, it will revert back to local Git. So it will validate the code, then only it will move to GitHub. This is Sonar Code Review.
Okay.
So it will review the code first, then it will allow to GitHub. So if any duplicate lines are there in this Sonar Code Review tool, normally this is completely developer's tool. Okay, we don't use this tool basically. We just need to install, configure, and we can hand over to developers. So Sonar Code Review tool will review the code for code standards. Every company, every project team, they maintain some standard set. So here Sonar Code Review will review the code and it will validate the code and it will allow into GitHub, right? If any issues are there, so here it will stop. Someone asking some question in the chat. Can we change the build triggers later? I mean, if I want to build job 3, yeah, you can change whatever you want, you can change. The sequences and all, whatever you want to modify, you can modify your own. We modified, right? Goals here. Yeah, we modified. Fine. So like this, we can configure pipeline jobs in real time. Okay, whenever we got this requirement, okay, as per the requirement, we can configure. Developers will inform you. They will send emails. So we require this pipeline jobs because we are working on multiple sprints. So first sprint, first this code should be deployed or triggered. Then second one, third one, fourth one, like that. They will give you some information. Based on that, we can configure the jobs. Okay, fine. Next one is one more concept. Is any questions here in this? Any questions? Anyone still?
Yeah. One more thing. Is this only scenario that if a goal is written, if configured wrong, then only will get error, or else is there any other scenarios also
Any
where the
errors?
job will
Yeah,
not
so many
failure?
errors. Not only goal. If the repository is not repository URL is not correct, okay, or else GitHub is our local Git. Any issues? Okay, so many issues will get in real projects. So not only goal issue, network issue, okay, any issues. Based on the logs, we can find out the issue. So we get logs, right? Once complete the job. So based on that, we can check it out and we can troubleshoot.
Yeah.
Fine.
Sir, if there is issue in the code, we'll get to know through the logs.
Sorry, logs. Can you come again?
And if the job is failed and I mean the reason is there any problem, any issue in the code of the code is not written properly? How we get to know that?
Yeah, that is why I'm saying here Sonar Code Review tool. This will check if any code errors are there, duplicate lines are there in the code. It will check it out. Sonar Code Review will review that. Once it is validated, then it will move to GitHub. Okay.
Hello. What are the most common issues you will be facing while running the job?
Common issues means normally if you give any wrong values, okay, wrong goals, network issues, okay, and also sometimes what will happen. So while picking the code from GitHub to Jenkins, okay, GitHub server will not be available. Okay, so due to network issues or maintenance issues, so many things, plugin issues. So I show you one blog. Once complete this, I'll show you one blog. You can go through that blog. You will get all the troubleshooting part, like issues, frequently getting issues. Okay, like you and me, people will update the issues, challenges. You can go through that. You will get some real-time challenges, issues. Okay, I'll show you after completing this Jenkins. Okay, so we need to follow the blogs. So we have so many blogs available. So if you want to know the issues, regular issues or challenges, you need to go through some blogs, Jenkins blogs. I'll show you that once complete Jenkins. Yeah. So one more question here in the chat. For example, if I want to create 10 jobs, yeah, we can create 10 jobs. So for example, currently we have 4 jobs. If you want to add additional 6 jobs in this pipeline, you can create and you can configure. Fine. Yeah, we have one more concept, which is a small concept, which is Jenkins backup. Okay, that also we can cover now. It will not take much time. It will take 10 minutes hardly. Jenkins backup. Okay. So why we require Jenkins backup? So normally in real time, what is the backup? Basically, what is backup? Why we require backup? Anyone having an idea? What is backup basically?
Restoring the data.
Yeah, restoring data. Next.
A safe side will take to.
Yeah, safer side you can take that. Okay. Any other? Fine.
If something went wrong,
yeah, correct. Fine. So basically, what is backup? A backup is a copy of important data that is stored on an alternate location, right? So it can be recovered if the data is deleted or becomes corrupted, depending upon how often the data changes, how valuable it is, right? So normally, what will happen in real time? So why should I take the backup? So the server which we are using could stop working at any point of time, right? And the data on the hard drive could become corrupted. Right? So in that case, what we will do? So we will retrieve the data from the backup. So normally in real projects, we use some backup mechanism. So when we face any issues, when any failures happen, hard drive failures or server failures, by the time we can retrieve the data from different mechanism, different backups, right? Fine. So here also we have backup concept, which is Jenkins home directory backup. Jenkins home directory backup. Why we require home directory backup means, so in home directory, what will be available? What are the things available? So plugins available, okay, jobs available, configurations available. So everything will be available in home directory. If the Jenkins server is crashed, all these jobs will be gone, right? That is why normally every week we'll take some backups. Jenkins home directory backup. Okay, fine. So for which, first we need to configure one plugin. So if you want to configure backup, if you want to take backup, first we need to configure one plugin. So go to manage plugin, click on available plugin here. So the plugin name is Thin Backup. Thin Backup. So you can install this plugin, install without restart, click on this. Yeah, now it is success. I want to restart this Jenkins once. Yeah. Yeah, once we install the plugin, you can go to manage Jenkins, go down here, Thin Backup icon is available. See here. So this is Thin Backup. Open this. Yeah, now, so we need to configure backup here. So where you want to take this backup, okay? So go to settings, click on settings. So this settings, we need to give some path, okay? Slash, where I want to take the backup in slash where slash lib slash Jenkins. So here I want to take the backup. So in this path, okay? So what are the things you want to take? Yeah, next one is backup schedule for full backups. I don't want to schedule anything. Backup schedule for differential backup. No, I don't want to schedule anything. Yeah, this one also I can ignore. I don't want this. And now backup build result. Okay, so I want to take backup of plugins, additional files, clean up differential backups, backup next build number, backup content folder. So all these things I want to take. Move. This is also I can fine. I can select all these things. I want to take all these things and save this. Click on save. Once we save this, we can run backup now. Click on backup now. So backup is started. Okay. So where it will be saved? Slash where slash lib Jenkins. Right. So now what I will do, I'll connect through console once, party session. So copy public IP, go through, yeah, go to party, open this authentication, browse, keypair, open. Login ID is Ubuntu, right? Yeah. So where we took the backup, CD, CD slash where slash lib sudo answer leదండి. We need to get sudo here, right? ls. Here we have Jenkins folder. We need to go to Jenkins folder. This is the Jenkins, right? CD Jenkins. ls here, C here. So these are the jobs, plugins, right? So all these things are available here. We backed up this. So now we can go to plugins. CD plugins. So now we can check plugins. Whatever plugins we installed, all the plugins are available. Just now we installed one plugin, right? Which is Thin Backup plugin. This is available. See here, Thin Backup. And also we installed so many plugins, right? So these are all plugins. CD dot ls here. And next one is jobs. cd jobs ls here. So these are the jobs available: job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, and test job. In our console, 4 jobs are available, right? So these are the 5 jobs: job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, and test job. The same jobs available in console, right? So these are the jobs, and different things are available: nodes, logs, whatever things, right? So like this Jenkins home directory backup we can take like. So whenever any server crashes up, normally in the same server we don't take backup. We'll take this backup into other devices, because if the server is crashed, the data will be lost, right? That is why we don't take backup in same server. Right? So this is how we can take the backup whenever we need this data to be retrieved, archive. So this is the tab we can archive the backup. Restore. Archive means restore. So when we click on this restore, it will be restored. So we need to provide the path, it will be restored. It is very simple. Okay. Yeah. Any questions here? Someone asking some question here. How to download the data from Jenkins folder? So why we require? You want to download it to your local laptop? So normally we don't download, right? These are remote servers. So you can deploy the data, deploy the code into application servers, right? Fine. So we stop here for today. So tomorrow we'll work on master slave model. So that is most important in real projects. We always run the jobs on slave servers. We don't run the jobs on master server. We always run the jobs on slave machines only. Tomorrow we'll take one slave server. On top of that, all the jobs we can run all the jobs on slave server. So in master we trigger the job will run on slave server. That we will work on tomorrow. Fine. So we stop here for today. Thank you all.